explain house by house, okay, so that you know the meaning of each house. What's your level of astrology? Would you consider yourself a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced?
I would say intermediate. There's a lot I know, but a lot I still don't know yet. And that's why I
Okay.
still, well, this year I've started paying for readings here and there just to get different perspectives from
Hmm.
different astrologers and to also kind of learn from what their, I guess you could just say from their perspective.
Hmm. Okay. All right.
But I'm very familiar with my whole birth chart, but I just want better insight on certain things.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So you know that you are a Leo sun
Hmm.
and a Scorpio rising
Yep.
at the degree of Cancer. And you know that I do the degree theory by the
Hmm.
late Nikola Stojanovic. So we're going to do the reading based on his teachings. All right.
Okay.
So as a Scorpio ascendant, um, you are the investigator of the zodiac, right? You like to know everything about everyone, but your life is top secret. And by the way, I write everything down so that
Hmm.
way I don't miss or try not to miss anything.
Hmm.
Okay, so your life is top secret, but you want to know everything about everybody. Um, for Scorpio risings, there's always something very sexy about the person, and you have Pluto on the ascendant, so that's like double, you know. Um, so, but Scorpio risings, yeah, they're sexy, but they can be jealous, possessive, obsessed about someone or something that they want. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, this line, this is the relationship access line.
Okay.
So, for the first long-term relationship or marriage, and we define marriage as not necessarily with legal papers,
Hmm.
okay? But if you live with somebody day in and day out, and you do all those exciting things that married people do, like do laundry, clean the house, and you sleep in the same place every single day, you have a long-term relationship. If
Right.
you have a child with a person, that classifies as a long-term relationship
Hmm.
versus fifth house. Fifth house is, you go to their apartment one weekend, they come to your apartment another weekend, you go on vacation, you have fun. When you come back, you each go to your separate living quarters.
Hmm.
Do understood the difference? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
All right. So, for this first marriage, the marriage will stay together more because of money and property than love. It's all about sex, Scorpio, Taurus, money.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, this is the first. The second one, is the second long-term relationship would be your best because it has the sun and Jupiter there. But we'll get there.
Can I
So,
ask real quick, are you saying
yeah,
that that's what I've already probably experienced on that axis? Is
I
us
I don't know. Have you lived with somebody already?
okay, well, just family or just by myself.
Okay, so then no. Then
Okay.
your first marriage or your first long-term relationship, you need to be aware that this is probably the way it's going to play out. There's
Okay.
nothing, wrong with it, right?
Hmm.
But I'm just letting you know, some marriage lines are more stable. For
Hmm.
example, Cancer Capricorn, those marriages hardly ever get divorced, but they're boring,
Hmm.
So it
Yeah.
depends on what your ascendant is and what your seventh house cusp is. So I'm just
Okay.
okay.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
um with Pluto on the ascendant, this would make for a great surgeon because Scorpio is all about surgery. It's eighth house. Now, for health purposes, it's a combination of the first and the sixth house, right? So
Yes.
for Scorpio, it's all about the excretion, right? The colon, the urinary tract. So those are the things that you need to be mindful with on health purposes. Okay. Now,
Hmm.
this is according to astrology. I am not a doctor, a nurse, an ARNP, or anything related to the medical field. So you need to consult your PCP, right? But
Yeah.
okay, so Sag.
Those are
Sa
areas of concern right now, health, but yeah.
uh, okay. Okay.
And real quick, am I allowed to ask questions or should I just let you go over things first and ask questions at the end?
No, whatever you want. If you want to stop me right then and there and ask me a question, go ahead and do so. All right. And if after I finish the whole thing, you still have more questions, then go ahead and do so. Because we'll
Okay.
go through your chart, like I said, house by house. We'll do the aspects and then I'll do the transits. Okay.
Okay.
The-
Transits
And
is what
then
I'm still trying to learn too.
okay,
Transits and planet aspects,
okay.
and degrees to an extent.
Right. And then of course we'll go over the questions that like the major life questions that you asked me. Because I like to know the
Okay.
major ones just to see what the person, is dealing with, right?
Mm,
So,
okay.
okay. So for second house is the money that we make from the job that we do. And you know that the second, the sixth, and the 10th deal with jobs. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Career
Yeah.
and service.
Ca-
Yeah.
Career is 10th house. Sixth house is what you do on a daily basis at your job. Okay.
hmm
And then
Daily
this is
something
money from a paycheck. Eighth house is money that comes
from
in
other
all at
people.
once on from other people.
Hmm
Exactly. Okay, so you have Sag at the degree of Gemini. So this means you can make a lot of money with foreign corporations,
hmm
foreigners, foreign countries, teaching, traveling, or higher ed. Now, it is at the degree of Gemini. So your job would have a lot to do with paperwork, editing, writing, communications, maybe sending out a lot of emails. And again, it could be, you know, a large company because it's Sag, or even a university. Okay. Now you have Uranus in the second house at the degree of Capricorn in Capricorn. So this is a double whammy. It, Uranus in the second house, you can make money in unusual ways. Sometimes this comes out as like investing in crypto or something that's like far out. It could also be that you can make money doing astrology. That's another
hmm
thing. Or it could be something with airports, airlines, uh, IT jobs, something related to technology as well. But it also means that money comes in suddenly and it also leaves.
Drops out the
Yeah.
blue. Yeah.
Well, that's Neptune too. Okay.
Yeah. Disappearing and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yes, because Neptune money comes in mysterious ways. You don't have stability with money.
hmm
Also, the second house has to do with the way you eat. So for Uranus, you eat fast at irregular schedules. You don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. You like to try a lot of different things. Different foods, especially with Sag on the second house, you probably like to, taste foreign foods, right? All different types of foreign foods. Um, and you're not in the kitchen for hours. You like things you like quick. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So with like I said, with Neptune, money can disappear. You can make money from spiritual things. This can be pharmacy. Again, medicine comes up because Neptune rules medicine, it rules photography, it rules pharmacy. It rules art as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, spiritual stuff. Now, the remedy for these two happens to be to get a blue wallet.
A blue
I don't,
wallet.
a blue wallet to so that that wallet can absorb some of this disappearing stuff that happens to you when you make
Hmm.
money.
I'm gonna write that down. Okay. So
Okay.
the the I guess you're saying the good and bad is that I have the ability to make good money, but it won't be stable. And to remedy that, maybe like a blue wallet
Exactly.
as like,
It,
okay.
yeah, you can put a picture inside the wallet of a little fish or an airplane, something from, if you could do airplane and fish, that would be great. But you could have it inside the wallet. That kind of like doubles down
Okay.
on it. Okay. So
Okay.
now,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Third house. Third house, you start 18 degrees of Capricorn. 18 degrees is a malefic degree. Um, it
Meaning
could
bad.
also,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but it's also the degree of Virgo. I
Hmm.
have to say that to everybody, so sometimes it's not, just bad, bad, bad. It's the Virgo degree. So this would have to do with at work, you have a lot of writing that you need to do, potentially.
Hmm.
So, and it's at Capricorn. But anyway, third house is siblings, it's
Hmm.
cousins, uncles, aunts, extended family, your neighborhood, neighbors, your car, your computer, your cell phone, the car that you drive. So, according to this, since you have Capricorn on the cusp of the third house, you may drive an old car. You can speak slow. You may give long speeches if you have to speak. You can also, which again, you have a double whammy because look at this. You have Capricorn here, but you have the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, in the third house as well, at the degree of Gemini. So this is all applicable to, the way you speak, maybe even to the way you think, because third house are your thoughts.
Hmm.
You could have had delayed speech as a child, or maybe you even stuttered a bit, but you grow out of it.
I had a
With
developmental delay, I think my mom told me as an adult. I don't know
okay,
if it was speech related, but like learning
yes,
wise. Real
third
quick, on the
house,
on the
yeah,
older vehicle thing,
uh-huh,
I've had vehicles, they weren't like super, super old though, but if I don't want that to be the case, because I like, I guess maybe my Aquarius moon, I like new technology and stuff. Is there any
uh-huh.
remedy for that? I don't want to always be driving an older car.
Yes. Okay, in your car, have maybe like a on the rear view mirror, like one of those things that you hang that represents Saturn. What is Saturn? Mountain, goats, um, a piece of wood. A Saturn rules rocks, like natural rocks, like marble and stuff like that. Um, well, you're young, but in the olden days, people would play with little marbles, that you shoot them, that you would like go like that with your finger and you would shoot 'em. So that type of thing where it's natural. So that would be the remedy for Capricorn in the third house or Saturn in the third house.
You said like a marble?
Yeah, marble.
Marbles.
Marble
Okay.
or just natural rocks, natural pebbles, right?
Okay.
None of this artificial stuff.
With
Um,
crystals, I guess that's not a pebble. That's okay.
no, but it's okay if you want to go semi-precious and make it a little bit more whatever. Yeah, go for it. Do it. Yeah. Nothing plastic, nothing artificial. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so with Saturn in the third house, you have to be careful with your thoughts that they're not pessimistic or negative or a negative self-talk about yourself or thinking negatively about yourself.
Hmm.
Clear? Okay, so the best way to do this is to have a screensaver on your computer, right? Third house that has a mountain with either ice or snow and little goats on it.
Mm.
Okay, those are because Saturn rules mountains, it rules ice, it rules snow, and it rules goats. Okay, so you put that on your computer, and hopefully that screensaver helps you absorb that Saturn energy. Now,
Okay.
with the moon in the third house, this also can mean, and it's at the degree of Gemini. So again, your thoughts,
Can I
right?
ask you something real quick?
Yep.
You said I have moon in the third house because I always thought,
Yes.
are you saying because Saturn and Uranus, I mean Aquarius is co-ruled with Saturn traditionally or traditionally ruled by Saturn. So I always thought I had Aquarius as the moon sign.
It is. It's the moon sign.
Oh, okay.
The moon is in Aquarius, but it's at the degree of Gemini,
Okay.
15. Okay.
Okay.
We clear because Gemini is 3, 15, and 27 degrees. We're talking about the degrees, we're talking about the houses, we're talking about the signs and the planets all at once.
Okay.
So,
And I'm still learning degrees, but so degrees,
that's
I'm gonna say I'm a beginner.
okay. So, sorry. With the moon in the third house in Aquarius at 15 degrees, um, the moon in the third house means that your thoughts are colored with emotions. Um, you have a brother?
I have two
Do
older
you-
brothers. Mhm.
okay. So this would mean that your mom is closer to your brothers than to you. This could also the moon can also mean that you have a sister as a sibling as well. Um, now,
I think she likes my brother more than me, but they're emotionally, I don't think they're closer. She said it to me before that he actually lives across the country and he never comes to visit her. And she, I think she wants to be closer to them, but I think she may
I'm just,
like him more, but I don't think they're emotionally closer. She wants to be, but
yeah.
he never even comes to visit her. They're not close.
Well,
He has
sometimes,
issues with her from childhood, so he's never like I guess he's never really like opened up to her since childhood.
oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Um, okay, so the fourth house, it's the parents, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
physical, actual home in
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius. This would mean because the ruler for the degree theory of Aquarius is Uranus. It is not Saturn. It is the modern rulers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for this means that you moved around a lot.
Yes,
And at 22 degrees, sometimes the places that you moved in were very cold. Like the places,
they
the
were.
apartments or the apartments or the houses had heating issues, like they were always cold. So this could mean with Aquarius on the fourth house, apartment is in high floors. You change often the place of living. For this to stop, for this energy to just, if you want to settle down in a place, then you need to do something unusual to the place of living. Whatever unusual is for you. Or you can sleep in a loft, like if you get a place with a loft or you get a place with high ceilings, like the cathedral ceilings or the ceilings are higher than the regular house, then this energy gets absorbed and you will stay there. Okay? Does that make sense?
You said to avoid from living in cold places.
No, no, to avoid moving, constantly moving.
Moving a lot. Okay. In my
Yeah,
childhood, I did. As an adult, not so much. But if that happens, yes, I get what you're saying.
yeah. Yeah,
Live in
this
a
is your
loft or something.
yeah, a loft or do something unusual in your apartment, like maybe paint a wall blue, just one wall, right? Aquarius, Uranus. Uranus is blue.
Okay, I'm
So,
writing this down. Mhm. My dad was in the
um,
military as a child, so I did as a child move around a lot, but as an adult, not so much. But I'll keep that
was
in mind.
your was your father in the Air Force?
Oh my God. You're scaring me. How do you know this?
Aquarius, Uranus, right? To fly, to up in the sky. Uranus rules the sky. So your father had something to do with airports and airplanes and stuff like that. Okay, so fifth house. Fifth house is in Pisces at the degree of Aries. So the ruler of Pisces is Neptune. Now, sometimes this means that you will not have children. You can have secret relationships or love affairs, or your child, if you do have a child, they can become a doctor, a photographer, a pharmacist, something Pisces related. And the fifth house is the first child. Your seventh house is the second child. Ninth house is the third child, and so on and so forth. So the first one, if you do have children, um, that's what you can expect. Now, this also talks about, fifth house is not only kids and romance, it's vacations, things that you do, like hobbies
For fun.
that you have fun, sports, but not professional, just to, you know, whatever. You get everybody together, have a softball game type of
Hmm.
thing. But it
Yeah.
also rules boyfriends, girlfriends, right? So this means that you can meet your boyfriend at the sea, Pisces, at the beach, on an island, on a cruise, at church as well, or at work because the ruler is in the second house, or at a bank as well. Okay. Um, but Venus is in the 10th house, so I think you're gonna meet, most of your boyfriends at work anyway. Virgo, Venus at
I
Virgo.
always, I've always seen that when I read my chart, but that hasn't really been the case. But real quick, you said that I caught everything but the last part. You said that banks because Jupiter's in my second house, did you say?
No, 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 no. The ruler of Pisces is Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Neptune? In the
In my
second
chart.
house.
Okay, yes.
In the second house. Second house is money. It could be a bank, right? You go, you deposit your paycheck. And now everything I know is electronic, but you never know. You might
I and I see what
walk
you're
into
saying. You're
the,
combining like Jupiter with Neptune, second house. Okay.
okay. All right.
Beach or
So no,
bank. All
not
right.
Jupiter. I don't know where you're getting Jupiter from. The Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, but for the degree theory, the ruler of Pisces is Neptune. Period. Done.
Okay. I gotta look up the
Okay.
degree theory. Okay.
All right. So, all right, sixth house. Sixth house is at 22 degrees at the degree, I mean, at the sign of Aries. And by the way, nobody's going to kill you or anything like that. Your chart does not indicate that because your eighth house does not start at 22 degrees. And the ruler of your eighth, which is Mercury, does not start at 22 degrees. So you can
Okay.
rest assured.
Can I
Yeah.
pause right there on that? So two things I
Uh-huh.
realized from another astrologer, like after I had sent you that email asking that question, I had did another reading with another astrologer, and she did also say that because she was saying I was getting my planets confused with the houses with the degrees. So that made sense. But I have had some situations like with a person I was dating, a Scorpio guy that I was dating that did something really weird to me where I almost feel like he did something to me health wise. And then I started just earlier, well, some months back, started having seizures and health issues out of the blue. And when I was dating him, he was very like weird, like kind of abusive. And one time he asked me, did I have life insurance and just some weird stuff that it didn't make sense to me until I started having health issues. So then when I looked at my chart and I was seeing these 22 degrees, but yeah, the other person did tell me I was getting my houses degrees confused with planet degrees. So that makes
Right.
sense. So you're saying you don't see that because if it were, you're saying Mercury at 22 and what were the
And the
other?
eighth house at 22.
Okay.
Or
Or sun,
Plu-
moon, or ascendant too, I think.
no, or Pluto, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ruler of your rising sign at 22. The
Mm-hmm.
eighth house at 22. The ruler of the eighth house at 22, then we would be having a different conversation. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's not the case. What
And
this means, I'm sorry, go ahead.
even the 16 degree though, with the other person, they were saying that can be a degree of like tragedy or something, she was saying, with me having
No,
Pluto or Scorpio there on my ascendant.
no, no, no. Uh-uh. 16 is Cancer. So that means you're gonna marry somebody that's born in the United States. He's gonna be a native of this country. You will not marry a foreigner. Follow?
Okay. Okay. And that throws me off too, because then with me having Jupiter and Leo in the ninth house, it was saying Jupiter being for a woman, her husband, um, and then me having it in the ninth house being foreign land, it was saying I could meet a husband that's from a foreign land because I have Jupiter in the ninth house.
Well, in your second marriage, yes, potentially, yes.
Okay.
But your ninth house starts in Cancer. So again, it's native, right? But it could be well, let's wait till we get to the ninth
Oh,
house.
to the
Yep.
ninth. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So the sixth house, this day, deals with a lot of daily routines, your diet, your exercise, things that we do on a daily basis. It also deals with your health. So
Mhm.
health-wise, you need to Capricorn, be careful with your knees, right? Because Capricorn, the 22nd degree is Capricorn, so be careful with your knees. You could also have, I mean, not now because you're young, but like rheumatoid problems, like
Mhm.
arthritis in the knees.
Okay.
Aries usually means the diseases that go in the blood, that are in the blood. So blood
Mm.
clots,
Oh my
blood
gosh.
pressure,
I see
blood
a
pressure.
rheumatologist next week for some sort of
Wow.
autoimmune issue.
Okay. So blood
Wow.
clots, blood pressure, diabetes, anything having to do with your head, the circulation. I mean, if you're going to break
Seizures.
something, seizures.
I've been
Okay.
having them. I'm on seizure meds right now.
Okay, so that's probably some inflammation because Aries is always inflammation happening.
Mm.
Again, I'm not a doctor, so you
Yeah, I
need to
know.
follow. So, you could break your head, right? You could break your nose. Careful with arguments with coworkers because it's a
Mm.
sixth house and it's Aries, so it's ruled by Mars, and Mars is also in your 10th house. So, keep it very light at work.
I recently have been having some disputes. Well, but with that in mind, real quick on that, are you saying like it could lead to something like terrible, or I mean, because based on my placements, it's kind of saying it's inevitable from what I gather that I will always probably have conflicts at work having Mars in the sixth house.
Okay, Mars rules your sixth house. Mars is in your 10th house. So, yes, you would have issues at work with arguments, right? With coworkers. So, knowing this, now you can use astrology to help you. If you know that
Mhm.
something's getting heated, try to be the peacemaker, right? Peace and love. Can we agree to disagree, right?
Mhm.
Listen to the other person. A lot of times when somebody's arguing with you, they're not listening to what you're saying. So the best thing to do is quiet down, let them talk, and say, okay, this is what I understand from what you said. A, B, C, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is what I am saying, you know, X, Y, Z. And then, that's how you may maneuver this situation, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So,
Yes, ma'am.
so for Aries in the sixth house at work, um, oh, Aries is weapons. So you're talking about knives, bullets, stuff, sharp things, which I don't recommend you take to work, but maybe scissors. If you can have a pair of scissors with a red handle, right? Uh, that might be a good thing to have because it absorbs the energy of Aries as a remedy.
I, I'm working remotely right now, but that doesn't mean that I will forever. But is it also indicating that arguments at work, if not, if I didn't alleviate the issue, could lead to, I guess, violence?
No, because Mars is conjoined Venus,
Okay.
right? Venus is peace. It rules Libra and it rules Taurus. So peace and love.
Okay.
Okay. So, um, all right. So seventh house, we were talking about first marriage. So most likely the person, your first long-term relationship will be somebody that has money.
Oh, say
You
that
know,
one more time.
your first long-term relationship or marriage most likely will be somebody that has money. They'll be a wealthy person. Or, doesn't mean a millionaire, okay? But somebody that's pretty okay money-wise. And probably so 16 is the degree of Cancer. They can be in a Taurus meaning they could be a little bit chubby. They could be a banker. They could be a banker, they can be involved in the food industry, it could be a chef or maybe the owner of a restaurant or a bakery, right?
Mm,
Um, so yeah, those are the main things for Taurus. Agricultural too, somebody that deals maybe with landscaping or um, trees, that type of and you will meet this person at work. Venus is in the 10th house. The ruler of the seventh is in the 10th house. So you will meet this person at work in Virgo at the
that's the
degree of
thing, right? I mean, well, I can't see the future and what I'll end up doing in the future for work, but I work remotely. I'm not even around people for work. But real quick, can I
Mhm.
ask something on that? So
You can
I
ask any
have
question you want. Go
I
ahead.
okay, I just don't want to throw the conversation off or make you lose train of thought.
No,
Because
because I have everything written down. So go ahead.
okay, I always wondered about that, and I have had a lot of I don't want to because I feel like anytime I say something, I jinx myself. But I guess if it's in my chart, it is what it is. But I've had where I've like attracted a lot of wealthy men, and I've Googled some, and they're millionaires, not NFL players and things like that. But I
Mhm.
I noticed that um I don't even know how to put it. I always like kind of like mess it up with them. So I don't know if it's I don't know if that'll be something sustainable for me because it's like I attract them in a lot, but then like I may repel them off or we get into it or it never actually turns into something. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure that part out on my own. But if you're saying you see it in my chart, then okay, that's good
Oh,
to know.
look, I mean, okay, so your chart is not an easy chart because you have more red lines than you do blue lines. Okay, so
Okay. Where there's
you
conflict, I'm guessing,
yeah,
or
well,
issues.
okay, so the short red lines are squares and the long red lines are oppositions. This is a sextile and then this is a trine. Your Venus is trining um your Neptune and is trining your Uranus. And when I get to Venus, I will explain why things are happening. Okay.
Venus, trine, Neptune, and Uranus. Okay.
Yeah, look, 6 and 7 degrees, 10 and 14. Mind you, the 14 is a huge, like a big difference, right? But it's still trining. Now, um, and I'll let you know when we get to the aspects. Now,
Okay.
eighth house describes the way that we will die. All right.
Seeing mine was in Mercury, so transportation, I guess, or
At the 15th degree. Now, could be inflammation of the lungs. So I hope. that you don't smoke or you're not around
Mm-mm.
people that smoke. Because some people can smoke and it's no big deal. They don't die, they don't get cancer, they don't get anything, right? For you, it would be a different story.
Oh,
Italy is not recommended for you to travel to Italy
what?
because
Oh, wow.
you would activate the eighth
Those
house.
issues. I was just
Right.
looking at places like based on your certain placements in your chart that are safe to or good to travel to and places that are bad to travel to. And it had Italy and it had like or it had France and some places that were good for me. And it was based I was looking at based on my eighth house. Eighth
No,
house being Mercury and Gemini. So then I looked at Gemini places that were good to go to. And it said France or something or Italy. But
no,
okay.
Francis Leo. Hang on a second, because my kitty wants in. Hold on. Sorry about that. I heard her meowing outside, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Um,
So
okay, so no,
real quick, can you repeat that? You said what possible causes of death with the eighth house, and then you said the degree is another issue.
well, the thing is that the 15th degree is a degree ruled by Gemini, right?
Okay.
So Gemini is 3, 15, and 27. Now, your eighth house starts in Gemini at
Mm-hmm.
15 degrees. So, what does Gemini rule medically? Your lungs, your arms, your fingers, your hands. If you break an arm, chances are you're not going to die from it unless it gets infected, right? But a car accident and inflammation of the lungs, that those are serious things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Specifically because Mars is within 6 degrees of Mercury, right? Inflammation of the lungs. Got it?
Inflammation of the lungs. Okay. You know,
Right?
the car thing, I saw that with my eighth house being in Gemini, but and I've been having more. I did have an actual bad car accident not too long ago. My car is totaled from it. With the seizures I was having, I had some sort of like mini seizure while I was driving, and my car ended up in a ditch. But long story short, I don't know if I guess some of this is faded. There, I mean, if someone having a car accident, I don't think that's something that can even be fully avoided in some cases. Like it could be the other driver did something crazy. So I don't know. But
True,
it's good
true,
to
but
good to know, I guess.
but the thing is you have Jupiter squaring your the ruler of your ascendant. So, and that's not bad. Let's just put it that way. That's not bad because any square from a benefic, which is Venus and Jupiter, is not bad. Okay.
Jupiter scoring my ascendant, you said.
Yeah, Jupiter squaring your ascendant ruler, Pluto.
Okay. And like I said, I'm still trying to learn like these charts. So I said intermittent. I guess I should have said beginner.
That's okay. That's all right. That's what I'm here for. I'll explain it. It's okay. So no problem. All right. So my recommendation is not to go to Italy, not to come to Miami. Miami is ruled by Gemini.
Wow, I was just
Okay.
there this month. Well, last month actually.
Yes.
Um,
But
okay, let me take Italy off my list. I had just put that on my list as well.
yeah, no. Besides, they're really rude over there. I've been to Italy. What a letdown.
I
Really,
love
really.
Italian food, so I was like,
Oh, listen, girl, over here they cook better than over there. Although, like for
really?
example, the orange juice, the butter, the milk, I mean, you could taste the difference, right? Like the natural food is 10 times better than here. We get water for milk, basically. Over there, you get the real butter, you get the real cheese, you get the real, yeah. I mean, that I did think.
Mm.
Okay, ninth house. This is Cancer, right? It
Real quick,
starts
I'm
at
so sorry to
Cancer.
interrupt you. And
Uh,
part of my ADHD, you said don't go to Italy or Miami for reasons of inflammation of the lungs, or we include in the car accident part?
Car accidents. as well.
What's making you, well, okay.
Yeah, it's more like the different places, it's more the car accidents than anything else, right? Because inflammation of the lungs is, things that you do that you smoke or you're around things that could irritate your lungs. Um, you know, you're more susceptible to pneumonia. So be careful with colds that you catch, right? That you don't
Hmm.
just let it go and let it go and let it go. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
COVID was a
I
hard one. And I got that.
Okay. So
Just
um
those two places, or
well, those are the only two places that I know that are ruled by Gemini.
gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. Now, ninth house starts at Cancer at 18 degrees. So most likely you travel a lot domestically. The
Hmm.
sun is in Leo at 4 degrees, again, the degree of Cancer. So, but it's in Leo, so you can vacation in a foreign country. Leo is France, just so you know.
Leo is what? I'm
Um,
sorry.
France,
France. That's
France,
why I
yeah.
was looking at it because I had Googled places to go that are good places based on my sign, and it was France. I thought I had saw Italy, but I guess not. And it said Miami was ruled by Leo because Miami was founded during Leo season or something. I read. I don't know.
Well,
I could be
Nicola,
wrong.
Nicola classified it as Gemini. And again,
Oh,
I
okay.
go by
His
what
theory.
yeah, his theory.
Okay.
So with the sun in the ninth house, you could study at a famous university as
Sun
one
in
of
the
the
night.
things. Excuse me. Um, you can also travel for work, right? 18 degrees Virgo.
Mm,
It also is a malefic degree, so you need to be careful when you're in a foreign country, right? Just be mindful of who's around you and what you eat, because Virgo is also the diet that we have.
mm,
Jupiter is in the ninth house at 19 degrees, which is the degree of Libra. So this is Jupiter is an excellent education. You can travel a lot and the
mm.
studying goes very easy. Now, okay, so let me go up here and let me
Can I
move
pause
this
real quick
down.
while you're doing that? You're
Yep.
saying when traveling foreign places, because I actually had been talking with my mom about traveling more foreign
Uh,
places, just to
uh-huh.
be mindful of like safety things. And because you're saying 18 is a not the greatest degree. So you're saying just safety wise and what I eat, what I consume.
Yes. Yes. Make
Okay.
sure that you go to a place that has fresh food.
Okay.
You don't want to get sick in a foreign country.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So, um, now Jupiter is conjunct your MC, which is at 22 degrees of Leo. When a planet is within 3 degrees of the cusp of the next house, you can read it in both houses, right? So I just gave you the definition of Jupiter in the ninth, and now Jupiter in the 10th, because it's within, this is almost 20 degrees, and your MC is at 22. So that it qualifies. So you have Leo in the midheaven. So this means that you will get a leadership position at some point in time. And also you have the 22nd degree, which is the degree of Capricorn. So that is a double leadership indication, right? Um, when this happens, just be aware because the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. When
Mm-hmm.
Saturn goes, let's say that you get promoted next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Saturn goes into Leo, you might lose the position because it's the degree of Capricorn. And
When
usually when
Saturn goes
Saturn,
into Leo.
yeah, you might lose it, or maybe if you don't have if you are not in a managerial position, then maybe it can give you a managerial position once the transit is over, because Saturn always leaves a gift when it
When
exits the
it's done.
house. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
gonna put myself on mute one moment, so I can blow
Okay.
my nose. I'm listening now. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay. So with Jupiter in the 10th, this can also mean that you can have a career in higher education as a professor. It can deal with import, export. Now with Mercury at the degree of Aries, so success for you will come early in life. And it would have to do with a lot of writing. You can be a journalist, you can be in the transportation business, also businesses that deal with the internet as well. With Venus in the 10th, this is an indication that you can have a singing career, or if you do get a high position, then you can make a lot of money. You will be making a very good salary. With Mars in the 10th house at the degree of Libra, um, you can have a successful career in the armed forces, construction, and for you, it's easy to get a job and it's easy to lose a job as well because of this Mars in there. So
Okay.
with Virgo at the degree of Aries, because it's 25 degrees, in the 11th house. So you're friends with your coworkers. You can work for a political party or association because the 11th house rules, your friendships, your social circles, politics. It also rules retirement, but you're like way too far from retirement right now. So, and lastly, the 12th house is ruled by Libra in at the degree of Capricorn. So this can indicate, because 12th house is isolated places, right? And it's also, hospitals, prisons, monastery, things that are isolated, but it's also your bedroom. So
Mhm.
your bedroom must be fabulous because it is Libra. Um,
Not yet. It's not, but
okay, but it will be. And the bedroom it should be very pretty. You dream a lot about getting married or having a partner, and you don't like to sleep alone. The 12th house is also what we don't have, which is a partner. And this can also mean that your partner can end up in prison.
oh my
So,
goodness.
all right, so a
Or the life,
remedy,
I think a loss of it too, loss of a partner, because the 12th is losses, right?
well, yeah, things that we don't have. What's missing in our
Okay,
life?
gotcha.
All right. So, a remedy for this, since it's at the 22nd degree, which is Capricorn, you
Mhm.
can put a clock in your bedroom. You can obviously have a beautiful bedroom. You need to do the nice sheets, the decorations or whatever. You can have like pictures of or paintings of couples together, you know,
Okay.
um, things like that to absorb the energy. And if you can find a or have your bed frame to be real wood is also, Capricorn, real wood.
Okay.
All
Mhm.
right, so I'm gonna switch to another. I'm gonna go to the astro.com
Okay. While you're doing
and let
that,
me,
you said that you're recording this and gonna send it to me afterwards
yeah,
so I can save it.
yep.
Okay, perfect. I'm taking notes, but I probably won't remember every single thing.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot to absorb. That's why I recommend the recording, right? But
Yeah.
okay, so let me move. But this one with Astro, it's easier to see the lines because with Solar Fire, there's just like too many lines in the way, right?
Mm.
Okay, so aspects. We're going to talk about Pluto sextiling um,
North
Neptune.
Node. Oh,
No,
Neptune. Okay.
Pluto, Pluto to Neptune. So you need to follow your intuition.
Mm.
You're you're a Scorpio, so you have your feelers out there and you can read people really well. But you have that sextile to Neptune, so the intuition is there big time.
Mm.
Also, Um, Pluto squares the moon, so you
Where's my
may
money?
have,
Uh-huh.
You may have prophetic dreams, but you might not remember them. Or maybe you don't think it's important, or but you
Mm,
need to maybe have a dream journal where you write stuff down, because the minute you wake up you forget, or you
mm,
know, try to, before you go to bed, say like a little mini prayer to whoever you know, believe in, God or whoever. Say,
mhm,
angels, please, let me understand the messages that you send me through my dreams. Okay.
mm.
Um, Now you have Uranus trining Mars. Uranus trining Mars, so you are naturally inventive, impulsive, courageous. You're willing to take risks and you dare to be different. Okay. Um, Uranus, and this is the part about your Venus. With Uranus trining your Venus, this is the love at first sight, but it's also the instability in love because you have it naturally in the chart. So,
Instability with love. Okay.
yeah, yeah, because Uranus is things that happen suddenly, but they don't last.
They do, right. They, yeah, disappear. So you're saying I could have love at first sight with someone else, or I guess maybe both
Yeah,
ways.
you attract and you also, you will also fall in love at first sight type of thing. Like that program on TV, or they used to be on TV, I don't know about now. So one of the things that you can do
Okay.
to remedy this is to have a painting with the sky with stars. A painting
Okay.
of the sky with stars.
Remedy is have a painting. Okay.
Okay.
A painting
Now,
of stars.
yeah, because if you had this and then you also had, for example, Venus trining Saturn, that would solidify your love interest, right? In the relationships.
Okay, wait.
But
Say that one more time. If I had what was that? Would
if
solidify?
you had Venus love
Hmm.
trining Saturn,
Long
okay,
term.
which,
Okay, Saturn being long
yeah,
term or okay.
right, but you don't. So
Um,
that's the thing. Okay.
and I
So
noticed that
that's
too. Like I'll like attract people or feel that way about them, like a strong feeling, and then it just goes away out of nowhere. I noticed that.
okay. So then you have Venus conjunct Mercury. So, you're good with, like, your personal interactions are harmonious, like the way you communicate, you're friendly, romantic, courteous. You have like a charming personality. That's the combination. You come across like very sweet. Venus trining Neptune. This is another one. When you fall in love, you it might last for you, it might last a long time, right? And you're the type of person that gives unconditional love. But with this Uranus trining Neptune, that's what causes the instability. So we need to find Venus and Neptune. Neptune is the sea. So if you could have another painting, so we could maybe we could force this energy. A painting. Painting is Venus, so you know. Neptune is
Mm,
the sea.
art.
So maybe if,
Mm,
if you had a painting of the sea, that would reinforce the Venus with Neptune, because that's what you want. You want it to last a long time. And when you fall in love, you want it to be nice, like a fairy tale type of thing. Because Neptune is fairy tales. Um, Mercury trining Neptune. So that brings intuition. sensitivity, imagination, you can have like a lot of creative ideas. You can, and especially at work. So you have to find um, a field where that imagination, that creativity can come
Come
out,
to
you
life,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, so now you have Pluto squaring Jupiter. So Pluto, you have it naturally. So you will go through deep transformations in your life. That's just a
Absolutely.
given.
Absolutely
Yeah.
have been.
Um, so you're serious to obtain goals, and you're very ambitious because you know, I mean, I don't know. Mars is ambition, but Pluto is like you're obsessed. Like you
Hmm.
go and you won't stop. So that's and then you have Jupiter opposing the moon. So this makes you optimistic, it makes you generous, warm, friendly nature. Because like I said, a square with a benefic is not, there's nothing to worry about. Okay. And
Okay.
you have the sun opposing Saturn. So usually this Saturn is always the father. So your relationship with your father is not good. You butt heads with him.
Absolutely. Only because he has like some mental health issues.
Saturn in the third. Your
I think
father.
he's bipolar or something. I don't know, but he for sure has mental health issues.
Okay. So yeah, that explains. See?
Yep. So we
So
clash a lot. And he has
yeah.
a Saturn moon. I mean, he has a Capricorn moon. So,
Oh, yeah, that's a little difficult. Um,
hmm.
okay, well, the other signification of this is not to buy an old car because Saturn is in the third. But you're determined and you're responsible. And you feel like you can't express your true self, though. This is a very challenging aspect that you have here. It can cause a lot of inner tension because the sun is you and
Hmm.
Saturn is this control, discipline, restrictions, hard work, that type of thing. So, um, the remedy for this is not to buy an old car, believe it or not. Um,
I don't want to. That's why
yeah,
I said,
right?
what can I do to fix that? You're saying because Sun opposes Saturn.
Yeah.
When you speak on the not buying an old car, you're saying the remedy to having that square.
That opposition is opposing. It's the sun opposing Saturn. Yeah,
So
that's
don't
one
buy
of
it. Okay.
no. But also the other remedy that I gave you about the screensaver with the
The goat. Hmm.
mountains and the goats and whatever, it also works. Like anything that's affecting this Saturn in the third, it will help. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So let's go to the transits.
Oh, I'm trying to learn all this. Real quick, at the end of this, I'm gonna try to remind myself because I want to know how you gather all this knowledge. Did you take any courses? Is this from your own research?
No, no, I studied not with Nicola because I did have my chart read by him, but
Oh
with one
wow.
of his oldest students. It's like one of the first students that he taught, and then she taught me the method. Because I have the two books that he wrote, but they don't explain the method. They give you chart examples and then just what I'm doing now with you. Okay, this is I don't know if you saw the video that I did on the presidents where I said that Donald Trump could be assassinated, and then 3 days later, here comes the attempt on the assassination. I mean, it's in his chart.
Mm,
So where you start to connect the dots, and that's what it's all
I'm
about,
researching,
connecting,
yeah.
yeah, connecting the dots.
So you
So,
okay.
so yeah, no, I mean, you have to learn the method,
Hmm.
which I
Trial and
did,
error and stuff.
and then, you know. You need
Putting the
to,
pieces together. That's what I've
yeah.
been trying to do. So for you, you're saying your own research, looking at people's chart and doing your own research, plus you had Nikolai do work with you individually.
No, not Nikolai, one of his students,
One of his
because
students, excuse me. Okay.
yeah, I was waiting for him to start his school, and then he died. I waited for like a year. I like 15, 16 months, and I touched base with him shortly before he contracted COVID and passed away. So,
Mm.
yeah. So, all right. Now, for transits, we look at the outer planets because those are the ones that are going to give us the biggest bang. Because, Mercury is only in a sign for 3 weeks. Venus can be, 4 or 5 weeks. So Mars, so they're very short, very quick. Now, Jupiter in the eighth house, this could bring more money based on commissions, bonuses, inheritances, money that
Hmm.
come in lump sums. All
We've been
right.
having that a lot of deaths in the family and inheritance.
Oh, wow. I'm
Because I
sorry to
have,
hear that.
I don't know if it's because Pluto's in Scorpio and that's my fourth house of home and family, and I don't know.
No, no, no. What do you mean, Pluto?
I think
Pluto is
Pluto
in
is in the
Scorpio
sign of, I mean,
in
excuse me, in
in
Aquarius,
Aquarius.
but for me, my
Yeah.
fourth house of home and family. I mean, family.
Yes. Yeah, that's the reason. That's exactly the reason. Okay, so Uranus is in the seventh house, so changes in long-term relationships are indicated. Um, Neptune is in the fifth. So Neptune in the fifth, be careful who you meet because Neptune is what we don't see.
And deceit and stuff. I've been learning that.
Yeah, yeah. So, and like this transit makes you like very romantic, very like falling in love with love type of thing, daydreaming about a boyfriend. Could also be that you're very creative um at this time with like ideas about hobbies or vacations that you want to take,
Yeah, I
especially
have
like
been.
especially like with cruises because Neptune
Oh
moves.
God, we just talked about a cruise today. It's crazy.
So, yeah, so that kind of thing. Now,
Can I pause real
it's
quick before
sure.
we move on? So
Mhm.
I have been learning to be cautious of romantic partners and interests with having Neptune in the fifth house. Um, is there any remedy for that? I mean, me having that daily, because I have, in my 20s, like terribly, I met a lot of people who I did have bad gut feelings about, but not only was I young and dumb then, but having that placement. So it's like I was young and didn't know much, but plus having that placement, I feel
Mm,
like that may always be a sore spot for me. But real quick, are you saying right now specifically because of that transit? You said Neptune,
yeah,
so Neptune's and Pisces at that critical degree right now,
right. The thing is
plus
that
me
you
having
have
it in
it.
my chart.
Yes, exactly. You have it naturally, and then
Hmm.
with
Plus the
Neptune,
transit.
yes, exactly. So it's like, it's doubling the effect for relationship houses or houses that deal with people. There are no remedies like the fifth,
Just being
the
aware, I guess,
seventh.
yeah,
Yeah, just yeah. Unfortunately, there's
of your. And real quick, when we get to the end, I'll ask, with that, there's an upcoming eclipse also in Pisces and I forgot what's the other, Pisces and Virgo. But the eclipse coming up next month is at 25 degrees. And then in my chart, I'm seeing that I have Pisces at 25 degrees. Does that,
at
um,
the cusp of your house.
if I was looking correctly, I have Pisces in the fifth house, but at 25 degrees. And the eclipse
Hmm.
next month is at 25 degrees. I guess we can talk about it at the end.
Yeah,
Because eclipses seem to I know eclipses have a
they
bigger
trigger.
impact if they're in
Yeah.
malefic houses too, but they really seem to alter my life like terribly, like when there's eclipses.
To me, the eclipses are the ones that are okay. Mars and eclipses. or trigger points. Pluto, because those are the things like set off things, right? You can have the transits of the outer planets, but those take time. They take a lot of time. Like Saturn is going to be in your fifth house for 2.5 years. Neptune is 14 years. Uranus, so it's like it doesn't happen all of a sudden, but Mars and eclipses do. So, um, yeah. For you, Saturn is going to be transiting the fifth house. So there is a potential of a serious boyfriend coming into the picture. And this could also indicate that you could lose weight as well. So
Wait, that
keep
don't
that.
sound good. I don't know if that's a good thing.
What,
Reason.
you don't want a serious boyfriend? Because that was one of your questions about
No. I do. I'm talking about the weight part. Hopefully a healthy loss of weight. But
yeah,
okay. Oh,
well,
say that. Okay, so you said Saturn is transiting.
is
I'm
gonna
I'm
is gonna start transiting your fifth house, going to start transiting your fifth house.
I thought Saturn already was transited because Saturn's in Pisces right now.
Right, but it's not. Your fifth house starts at 25th the 25th degree. Pisces is
Okay.
not at let me see the transit here. Saturn is at 17 and it's retrograde. It's going back.
You just taught me something. I mean, you've been teaching me a lot already. I was thinking this whole time that because Saturn was already in Pisces, which is my fifth house, that it was already affecting me. You're saying it has not affected me yet because you're going off the degree. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and
It
that's what I was
hasn't.
just talking about with the eclipses at 25° coming up next month, and it's 25° in my chart as well. All right. So you're saying
Yeah.
okay, so
When the eclipse happens, it opens a portal, right? It's like the
mm,
energy is activated. So that when Saturn is going to station, I think it's in November at 12 degrees or December. I think it's November, December. And it's going to station at 12 degrees. After that period of time, then it's just going to go direct, right? And hey, let me see. Hold on. So I can give
and
you
then
more data.
and
Oh,
once you finish that, I have another question about this.
okay, hold on. But I can tell you. Okay, so yeah, Saturn is stationing at 12 degrees starting in October, October 28th through, oh my goodness, through December 4th. And then from there, okay, so when Saturn gets to 25 degrees, it will
That's when it'll
be
affect me. Okay.
April of 2025. Now, within 2 degrees of that house cusp, you can start to see some action there, right? So let's say March towards the middle of March, March 20th, it starts at 23 degrees of Saturn, of Pisces. So from there on, you can start to see, look who comes into your space.
Into my vortex real quick, just to
Uh,
recap what you just said.
mhm.
Double checking. So the Saturn transiting my fifth house of Pisces is not affecting me like I thought yet because it has not hit that degree. You said it should hit that degree around October through December, and then
No,
or you're saying
no,
March or April.
March or April, correct.
And that's when you're saying a long-term partner, because Saturn being long-term will maybe come into my realm. But at the same
Yes.
time, you're saying to use caution because of the Neptune.
Neptune.
So
Yes,
I don't know.
exactly.
I don't know what to think of that because I would like a long-term partner. But if you're saying
Okay,
there could be
what is Saturn? Saturn is
teaches
discipline,
lesson, yeah, discipline,
time. It rules time. Take it slow,
delays and restriction.
but take it slow. You meet somebody, take it slow. Saturn, use the energy of Saturn. Take it slow.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
there use caution with that Neptune,
Yep.
but um okay. It makes me
Okay.
worry, but okay. Because then I'm like, is it
Don't
but
worry, don't worry, don't worry. Okay. Um, don't worry. I have okay. Pluto. Pluto is in your third house, so you could be passionate about learning something, right? Pluto is passion, third house is learning something. Maybe you're doing a lot of research, which is Pluto. Can also be a dramatic change with a sibling, hopefully for the better, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, that's the meaning of Pluto transiting the third house. And one thing
Mm,
that your Neptune is conjunct a fixed star called Vega,
Neptune,
Vega, which brings fortune and good
Neptune,
luck.
Neptune
So,
conjunct star.
yeah,
Okay. Brings fortune in
Vega.
any aspect or
It says fortune, and then let me hold on. Let me type it so
oh,
you can.
fortune like money. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the second house. Vega. That's the
Oh, is
fixed
that
star.
what
Yeah. Okay.
brings fortune?
It's
Okay.
conjunct Neptune
And
in
good
the
luck.
third house. So yeah. All right. So let me go to your questions, the ones that you
One you
said.
already answered about the 22 kill or be killed decree.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. The second one was with it says with my Jupiter in the second house, your Jupiter